Okay, we're going to continue with our videos on learning on isometric projection. So what I've got here is a protractor, which you would have got, here's another one, which you would have got in your maths set in year 7, which is like this. It's not just for year 7, it's for learning all throughout school and beyond. So what you do with these things is that you can measure angles, obviously. So you can see this paper, it's got a 30 degree grid on it. So we've got these vertical lines here, and then these lines here are at 30 degrees. So these lines here are at a 90 degree angle to the base, these ones here at a 30 degree angle. And this is the angle that we use for isometric projection. So what we're going to do is we're going to rule a line up. Just say you want to draw a perfume bottle or any object. We want to ascertain the measurements of the thing. So let's just say that it's, say 5 centimeters high. Maybe we'll make it, let's see, maybe 7 centimeters high in height. That's without the lid. No, I'm thinking maybe 8.5. That looks better. Okay, so we've got a vertical line there. That's the side of our bottle. That's the edge, sorry, of our bottle. Now, to ascertain the thickness of the bottle, we need to draw a line up here on this 30 degree angle. So I reckon we might make it about 3 centimeters wide. Okay, 3 centimeters wide. So I'm going to draw a line up here. It's 3 centimeters. That's the width of the bottle. Now, the depth of the bottle, we might make about 5 centimeters wide. 5 centimeters. Okay. This might actually be the face of the bottle. This will be the side. So we've got our width and depth ascertained. So here we did, that line there was 8.5. From this point here, we need to mimic that line, 8.5. So we're going to draw up there to 8.5. And then we'll do the same up here to 8.5. Okay, now all we have to do is join these lines here. You can see that it's a little bit beyond that grid line. So what I'm going to do is join them. And when I join them, you'll notice that they're actually parallel with that grid line. This one here, again, I'm joining the dots and they're parallel. So all of these lines, all the vertical lines remain vertical and they're all parallel to each other. And all of the angled lines, the 30 degree angles are all at 30 degrees to the base. And they will always remain at 30 degrees and they will always be parallel to each other. Okay, so we've got the basic structure of our bottle. So from now, we also want to draw the bottle, when we're drawing things in isometric, it's handy to draw them in, so it looks almost like a glass cube. So what I'm going to draw is draw the back of this. So I'm going to draw that out to there. I'm going to, let's see, that was 5 centimeters. So this line here will be 5 centimeters. So that goes to that point there. Draw it lightly at first, and then you can go over it later when you've got the lines right, correct. That's, again, that's 3 centimeters or 30 mils. Yep. And then we're going to join these two lines. Now, that, I've already pointed out a mistake there. Now, that is really dodgy of me. This line here, which is 8.5, let's see, 8.5, yes. This one here actually follows up from there, from that point there. And at 8.5, that is where that point should go. That joins to there. So that, yes, that's right, that's correct there. That shouldn't really happen because I should have been following those lines to a T. They should be joining those dots to a T. Anyway, so now we've got our box. I'll rub out that line later. If we want to make the bottle seem more shaped, we can shape it using that basic grid. So we shape it like this. We put curves in here. And we have to mimic that shape that was on the front of the bottle. So this shape here should mimic that shape there. And if this part comes into here, like this, that should go about there. Now, say we wanted to, and then again we can do that at the bottom. We can shape these lines down at the bottom so we don't have hard corners. Now, if we wanted to put a lid on this bottle, what we would do is we would find the dead center of this. So say it was, let's see, what's the center? 3. So 1.5 there, put a dot there. We go here, 1.5, and we just put a little mark right in the center there. Now we can draw a base for our lid. So we're going to draw, again, notice how I'm keeping parallel with those guidelines. I'm going to draw a base for my, this is like a basic, you have to draw a basic structure. So I'm going to draw, it's going to be a round lid. So I'm going to round off these edges so I get a nice ellipse. So I'll just curve off those bits there. And then I'm going to make another glass box to sort of work out where this goes. Can you notice that all these little structures are parallel to those great grid lines? Now I've got another ellipse here, and I'm going to join those ellipses to make it a cylindrical top. Okay, there, when I've got the shape right, I can start darkening my lines. And then I'll mimic this by doing some curved lines, and I'll mimic the actual line of the cylinder, of the ellipse, all the way down. It would be a mistake if I was going to go like that, because it won't enhance that curve. Okay, so now I'm not happy with that edge there. I'm just going to round that off a bit, and then that has to be the same there, and you can sort of round that off like that, again mimicking the shape of the bottle. This bit here is bothering me a bit as well. If that finishes there, then that edge of the bottle should, I'll turn the page around, go up like that more, and then we can rub out that excess later. Now, if we're going to do a label on the bottle, we would again use the same grid system. So the label would be in about the middle or here. We would sort of go like this, using the grid system again, following those lines, like that. And again, turn your page so you can do the line nice and straight. Use your ruler if you like. Here, obviously, you'd rub out this line later. But then when you're drawing the font, what would I write? I don't know, A, B, and again, I've nearly made a mistake there. The lines of the font should also follow those grid lines. C, D, I don't know, dodgy name for a perfume, but that's how you draw the font. Everything has to go in that same direction. Now, if you want to do a fancy lid on here or a clear lid over the top of your, like a crystal lid or something like that, again, you'd use the same grid system. So I'm going to do parallel lines with those grids. And again, I'm going to extend it up the same distance on each side. And just remember, use those grids as a guide. And then you might want to mimic that curved shape of the bottle for the lid. And then later on, what we'll do, once you've got the lines right, we'll trace these, and we will we'll practice rendering them, colouring them and shading them in the same material that you would propose them to be made from. So for example, steel or metal or glass, we'll have a practice with using some inks and watercolor or pencil or textures in to mimic that sort of surface. Okay, so that's a start. What I want you to do is decide what your perfume bottle's dimensions are and start to draw the basic structure of your perfume bottle.